So, and I sleep like a baby. Like we were talking about dreaming before. It's like I will fall asleep like that, and then I'll wake up in the next moment, and it's been like my alarm's going off, and I'm like, I have no idea what's happened.
That's it. I mean, you know, when you go to bed and you're stressed and you're worried about you've got something coming up and you've got deadlines and all of that sort of stuff, you don't sleep properly. You have to just like let go of it before you get into bed, and that does take time. And I think just diving straight from the laptop from work, because obviously like with what we do, and probably a lot of listeners to your show, is like they're doing their own thing, they're doing their thing for themselves. So that takes up like so much time. And when you dive from the laptop and the deadlines and I've got to like working like you're starving, like you've got to get those jobs in because you've got to eat. And then going straight into bed with that, it's like, yeah, if you can take some time to separate from that, and then that's work life, and work is not important. Work is not important. Like I always say that to everyone who works here, because I know some of them get so stressed and upset, and like we had a project go wrong recently, because we were given incorrect dimensions of a wall.
Oh no.
And when you're painting on a wall, that's a big fuck up. Like, and
so they gave you the wrong dimensions.
Somewhere along the line there was a miscommunication. I don't know where it happened, but we were working with the wrong dimensions for this wall, and like everything that conceivably could have gone wrong on this project went wrong. And one of our project managers was so stressed about it, and to the point of tears, when I literally just had to sit down with her and just say, this is not important. This is work. And I said, if we lose the job, fine. If we lose the client, fine. I was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to step away from work, because work is not the be all and end all of your life. I think seeing as you spend a third of your life in work, then if it's not bringing you pleasure, then don't do it. Like if it's making you stressed, or it's freaking you out, or you've got, or every day you're working with clients that you can't stand, change your job or change your clients. Because I mean, no one lays on their deathbed and goes, oh, I'm so glad that I won that contract back in 2019 and I got an extra 10k in my, like, no one cares about that.
I'm still pissed off about that client that I lost back in
exactly
2020.
It's not important. What's important is connections and relationships and friendships and all of that sort of stuff. It's we've got to take work for what it is, which is a means to an end. Like work is there to provide your living, but it doesn't have to be grueling and a hard challenge. It can be fun. It can be really fun.
Which I guess is like the point of your podcast really, is like you guys have kind of done that here with, okay, like you said, it's been very hard work to get the company to where it is, and there's been the struggles and the highs and, you know, the dimension, you know, mess ups and stuff like that. But ultimately you're doing it because your passion is, like you said, it's the graffiti side of it, it's the art side of it, it's that. And, you know, you've got this podcast, which is now encouraging people to, I wouldn't say leave their 9 to 5, but if you're doing something that you're not happy doing, go and do something that you are happy doing.
Yeah, I think if I could get anyone to have one takeaway from our podcast, it's happiness. Because if working where you work currently and watching Netflix and whatever it is, because when you work for someone else, that allows you to have, your free time is your free time. When you work for yourself, you don't really have any free time because you're probably working on the business. So if that makes you happy, do more of that. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. I mean, the show's called Creative Rebels for a reason. Like everything we've done that has been rebellious. Starting the podcast was rebellious because literally, I don't know if I've told you this story, but literally the first thing I did was when we thought, okay, I think probably podcast is the right thing for us to do. I started Googling like how to start a podcast, all that sort of stuff. Found a blog, and you know the comments underneath the blog. First comment was this guy saying, you can't start a podcast now. It's an oversaturated market, and unless you've got like a big brand behind you, you'll never be heard by anyone. Yeah. Straight away, I took a screen grab of it. I love it. Straight away, I was like, right, well, we're definitely doing it then, and we're going to smash it, because I love being told that we can't. And I think like rebellion is so important. I mean, we spoke earlier about me rebelling when I was a kid, and I mean, I didn't really know. I can articulate it much better now, like how I was feeling at that time, and I didn't feel like I had a voice, and I didn't feel like I was seen. And like by creating my artwork to a certain like subculture of people, I was seen, and that was, I think there's cultural things that were going on, and just that was the path I took. But when you look at what society, how it's designed, like how school is designed, how everything is to make us to fit into a box. And I get on the tube sometimes and I look at like everyone playing Candy Crush on their phone, and they're dressed in the same clothes, and they're going to the same job, and they're in the same routines. And it's like society doesn't want us to rebel, but the ones that do are the ones that find the happiness. Yeah. And for me, I'm all about do whatever makes you happy. I think that's the meaning of life. I think the point of all of this is to make yourself and other people happy. And so as long as you're not hurting anyone. So if that's what we want to do with the show is unlock that. Like, we have found so much happiness in working and in creating and in building, like progressing, basically. I think progression and happiness are very strongly tied for me. And so we found so much happiness doing that. And then we just started getting, through Graffiti Life, we just started getting all of these emails. Literally, I mean, we probably get 1 or 2 emails a week from an artist or a creative saying, oh, I noticed that you've done this, like, how did you do this? And asking all of these questions. And it was just like, well, we can answer those questions on a podcast, and then we can reach, rather than spending 30 minutes writing back to one person, we can put it out online and reach like 2,000 people.